Hey you guys, it's your girl T. So I wanted to come on here and talk about the whole Empire premiere, honey. So it went down last night and I was very, very upset, okay? So first of all, let me start by saying this. Shout out to all the people on the West Coast who had to literally wait 3 hours, okay? Not 1, not 2, but damn 3 hours. 3 hours before we could watch Empire. I said, what kind of foolery is this shit? I was mad as hell because everybody knows I have DirecTV, okay? I went and got satellite TV just so I could be on East Coast time because out here, their Time Warner station only goes off of West Coast time, okay? I've always lived in the Southeast or in the Midwest, so I'm not used to seeing stuff behind everybody else. I'm used to seeing it right as soon as it comes out, baby, okay? So I log on, so I go to watch the show, and it's showing TMZ. I said, why the hell is TMZ on? And everybody else is screaming they're watching Empire. And so I called DirecTV and they're like, oh, well, with local channels, they won't allow local channels to stream on East Coast time. You can only watch local channels on local time. So yes, on the West Coast, we had to wait 3 hours to watch Empire. So I was hot, I was upset, and I logged out for social media because y'all was not gonna spoil the premiere episode for me, okay? How you doing? So anyways, I finally got to watch it with my West Coast friends. And it was really good. I enjoyed the first episode, but it was a lot of fuckery too. It was a lot of stuff I had to call out. Now, in the opening scene, we have Cookie Lyons, and she's in like this gorilla costume, and she's like, you know, and she's going crazy in this cage. And I'm looking like, what the hell is going on here? And everybody's wearing, you know, Free Lucius t-shirts, and, you know, they're all in the crowd talking about Free Lucius Lyons. And she's basically doing this concert to help persuade these people who want to invest in their company to do a hostile takeover. So in this concert, this reminds me of the whole Black Lives Matter movement, but instead of hands up, don't shoot, they were saying how much longer. So I thought that that was kind of crazy how they kind of implemented Black Lives Matter into there. But literally within the first 10 minutes, there were so many cameos, I couldn't even keep count. Swiss Beats was there. Andre Talley, you guys all know him from America's Next Top Model. He's like a huge fashion person. He was there. And the biggest person that kind of surprised me that was there was Al Sharpton. I was cracking up when I seen Al Sharpton there. I'm like, really? So Empire's just giving anybody a role this season? It seems like every struggling, you know, celebrity, reality, whoever who wants to be on television, Empire's writing some type of little scene for them. You know, so I thought that that was really interesting. Another thing I found really interesting was how plush Lucius Lyons was living in jail, honey. He had a huge flat screen TV in his room. He was chilling. He had cable. He could watch everything live stream. I was like, how realistic is this? Like, really? Who the hell has a flat screen TV in a jail cell? Now, one thing I did notice this season is that the dynamic between Hakeem and Jamal has changed a lot. Now, if you guys remember, they were really close last season, but Jamal is trying to, you know, basically take on his role as being CEO of Empire on top of putting out his music. And basically, Hakeem's upset because Jamal doesn't like his cover art, and he's still bratty as ever and poking out his lip with his little cute self. And Gabrielle Sidibe, aka Becky, has moved up as well. She's no longer Lucius's personal assistant. She's now in charge of A&R, and she's also telling that, you know, telling Jamal and Hakeem that they need to fix their issues and come back together like brothers. Another dynamic that hasn't really changed much is the older brother Andre and his wife. And basically they're together. She's pregnant now, but he hasn't really made the announcement. I don't think anybody knows that she's pregnant yet. He's having a bunch of night terrors and, you know, sweating a lot in his dreams because we all know that he killed Uncle Vernon last season. So that he's been keeping to himself, and the wife wants to make sure that he keeps it to himself and that he doesn't share with the pastor or anybody else because she refuses to go to jail for some bullshit, okay? Now, the crazy thing is that Marissa Tomei, if you guys remember her, she's like an 80s chick. So Marissa Tomei is playing the character of Mimi Whiteman, and she's obviously bisexual. There's a lot of, one thing I'll say about this show, they're definitely pushing, you know, and I don't want to call it the gay agenda because, yeah, there really are gay people. Everything's not an agenda, but they're definitely pushing that gay lifestyle out there. The Mimi character is clearly a lesbian. She acts like she wants to eat up all of Miss Cookie's cookies, honey, okay? And so they end up taking her to this party, and they're playing a lot of really good music too. They're playing Cheddar the Connect, Flick of My Wrist. They're also playing Hot Nigga by Bobby Shmurda. So they're playing a lot of soundtrack music. And so at the party, there's a lot of females, and they're kissing on each other and feeling on each other. Anika, aka Boo Boo Kitty, shows up with Hakeem, and basically Cookie ends up pimping out Anika. So she tells Anika to get up there and start dancing because Mimi wanted to dance with her. And Anika starts trying to twerk. And this girl is from the West Indies, honey. When I tell you she could not twerk, that was the most epic fail of a twerk that I've ever seen. But Anika is still beautiful, but her ass can't twerk for nothing. So then they end up, you know, kind of flirting with each other, and she's like touching on her. You can tell Anika's kind of uncomfortable, but she's willing to do whatever for this hostile takeover. And I'm so tired of hearing the word hostile takeover, because folks are making it sound like it's just so easy to just take over an entire company. You know, they don't realize how much work this is. And granted, it's just television, but a hostile takeover is a really, really big thing. But Empire makes it seem like it's something just really, really simple. So another crazy thing that's going on with Empire is the whole Jamal dynamic with his boyfriend. Now, we all thought he had left his boyfriend last season because he hooked up with that black dude who was there as like a PA videographer assistant. Jamal ends up calling that dude a slut and a whore, but then he ends up getting back with his boyfriend, and then they start doing this kissing scene. He's grabbing his boyfriend's hair and pulling it back really, really violently and kissing on him. You know, it was just a bit much. I felt like that was a lot for primetime television. I felt like all the sexual things that they were showing on TV last night on primetime, you know, this isn't cable or anything like that. I felt like it was a bit much. And I think about the stuff that I was watching when I was in, like, you know, 8th and 9th grade, you know, how tame that was compared to what's on TV now. There's a lot of young kids who are really out here watching Empire, and they're definitely pushing the limits. You know, they're definitely putting it out there. And I don't care if it's the whole homosexual part of it or the heterosexual part of it. It's a lot of stuff that's just being put out there in the forefront that a lot of kids may not be able to digest, or that you really will need to talk to your kids about after and find out what they think about certain scenes. Because even the way he kissed that dude, it came off to me kind of violent. It wasn't loving. It wasn't caring. I didn't really like that. It wasn't lovey-dovey. It wasn't sweet. It wasn't sensual. And it makes me think that if that was a man and that was a woman, and a man just grabbed a woman's head like that, would people find that erotic? Would people find that okay? You know, I felt like he was treating his boyfriend like a piece of meat. So I wasn't really feeling that. Jamal has really changed this season. He's coming off really, really cold. Another thing that went down is the whole prison situation, okay? Now, the craziest part that everybody was going in on was the fact that Chris Rock, the comedian, was playing Frank Gathers. You know, Chris Rock just does not have that persona where he comes off as tough or menacing. You know, I just couldn't take it seriously, him playing that role. I don't know who casted Chris Rock in that role. I'm not saying that he didn't do a good job playing it, but it just wasn't really, really believable. So a lot of folks were going in on Chris Rock. That whole situation was crazy. And then the fact that D-Ray Davis was there. He's the one who snitched on Cookie. And D-Ray Davis ends up getting killed as well. Now, when Frank Gathers finds out that Cookie was the one who snitched, he ends up sending her a bunch of roses and a head in a box. And at first, I couldn't figure out whose head was in the box. But when I went back and I rewatched it on my website, I was able to see that the guy's head in the box had a black eye, just like D-Ray Davis did when Frank Gathers beat him up. So that whole situation was really, really crazy as well. So Lucius has been locked up in jail for about 3 months. Cookie refuses to see him, but after she gets that special delivery package from Frank Gathers, she ends up going to go see Lucius, and basically she wants Lucius to fix the issue. She's really, really scared. Now, what I find funny is that people want to talk bad about how bad Lucius is and how he's a devil and all this other stuff, but it's funny that they're always wanting to make a pact with this devil when it's convenient for them. So it's not okay for Lucius to, you know, kill your cousin and, you know, to do all this dirt, which it's not okay for him to do that, but it's okay to go to Lucius to ask Lucius to basically kill somebody else. So I find that really, really hypocritical of Cookie that, you know, she knows how ruthless this man is. She knows he's going to have her back, and she knows that he's going to take it to the extreme, and it's okay when it benefits her, but it's not okay when it benefits him. You know, so I just didn't like that dynamic of it. But what was so crazy is that when he went to go meet with Frank Gathers basically thought that he had one up on Lucius because, you know, he was running the prison system. And so he was telling them to make Lucius's death short, sweet, and to the point. Lucius lets Frank Gathers know that basically he bought off all of his goons. He took care of their parents, their daughters. He's getting the music careers and everything else. And that now that the tables have flipped and that they're going to kill Frank Gathers. And when I tell y'all, when I seen that scene and you saw Chris Rock's face, it made me think back to Everybody Hates Chris. Whenever Chris gets in trouble and then that theme song comes on. Everybody hates Chris. That's what I thought when I saw Chris Rock's face. I fell the hell out. And Lucius is so evil. He was like, make sure it's long, it's loud, and it's slow. And then all you heard was Chris Rock just, you know, screaming in the background. So, I mean, it was just insane. It was just a lot of twists and turns. There was a lot of different dynamics to this. So much happened in the first episode. It was just, you know, crazy. I had to watch it again just to be able to, like, you know, digest it because it was so much going on. Now, one thing I will say that did turn me off of Empire I feel like there's just way too many cameos. I feel like it takes away from the writing of the show. And it also bothers me with these cameos is the fact that a lot of actors are out here. You have a lot of people who want to get into acting. You have a lot of seasoned actors. You have a lot of people who don't have a name in the industry, right? So they want to get into acting. And I really feel like a lot of these roles should have been left to people who are newcomers to the acting world or who are newcomers to the show. We really didn't need a D. Davis on there, even though he did a good job. That could have been an unknown person. The person who played Chris Rock could have been an unknown character. You know, P.D. Pablo was in there. Like, what the hell? I haven't seen him since he had that song, North Carolina, come on and raise up. Y'all remember that damn helicopter song? I haven't seen or heard of P.D. Pablo since then, so I'm like, why do they have him in here as a character? They could have gave that to an unknown. I just feel like they need to stop doing so many celebrity cameos because now it's starting to cheapen the show. Now it seems like they're just trying to push these celebrities to bring more people to watch the show when the show already has a really good following. A lot of people are already supporting the show. And my thing is, if you don't work with unknowns, you never know how good they can be. Anika has never acted in anything before. She just had a particular look that they were looking for, and they helped to train her. She's brand new to acting, and she was able to make it as an unknown, and kudos to her. Then you have the guy like Andre, who's playing the Andre character. He graduated, I believe, from like Harvard, for acting, and we all know that Taraji P. Henson, she's a very seasoned actress. She went to school for acting. And then you have Hakeem's character. He wasn't an actor. He was an up-and-coming rapper. He was really an unknown. A lot of people didn't really know him before this show, and they took a chance on him, and same with the Jamal character. So I feel like they need to also do that for all these little cameo roles as well. I would much rather see regular, up-and-coming budding actors and actresses getting these roles as opposed to a bunch of big-name celebrities. So that's my only issue with this situation. But other than that, it was a pretty good premiere. I thought it was very, very interesting. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how this show plays out, to see the dynamics of the character, to see what happens, and to see if they end up coming together as a family or if this whole entire venture ends up destroying them. So last but not least, before I go, I want to go ahead and leave you guys with some of the funniest memes that I saw last night on social media. So go ahead and check out all the memes and all the comments, and once that's over, feel free to leave a comment. Let's get the discussion popping. Let me know what you guys thought about the first premiere episode of Empire Season 2. Don't forget, if you guys have not watched it, you guys can check it out on my website. The link will be down below. You guys can see the full episode. All right, deuces. Hey you guys, it's your girl T, and you can show me some love by watching, rating, and subscribing to my videos. Don't forget to share them, and also don't forget to follow me on social media. And if you get a chance, make sure you check out Lovelyti.com where you can purchase a coffee mug or a t-shirt. Talk to y'all later. Deuces.